boys and girls. How are you today? Isn't this exciting? Say, have you ever seen an old-fashioned paddle wheel boat? Well, we're going to travel on one today. It's located in Williamsport, boys and girls, right here on our beautiful Susquehanna River. And we're going to get to meet the captain. We're going to find out why the people of Williamsport decided to build this lovely old-fashioned paddle wheel boat. You know, at one time in the history of our country, boys and girls, maybe 100 years or more ago, there were lots of boats like the Hiawatha, and they traveled the rivers of our country up and down, and just about in every community you might find a boat, a community that was close to the river, that is, just about like the Hiawatha. Well, we're going to travel today, and I'm really excited. In fact, Alfie has been packing his nautical gear, so the sailor in him will be ready to greet us in just a little while. And if you happen to have a sheet of paper around, we'll make a sailing boat just for us. I think we have a story planned. We're going to meet some of the people who travel on the Hiawatha. But right now, come on, I can't wait to board, so let's watch this. Oh, boys and girls, we are just so happy to meet the captain of the Hiawatha. Captain, thank you so much for having us down here today.
It's a real pleasure.
And tell us a little bit about your beautiful boat. I know at one time riverboats like this used to be on all the waterways in the United States, but they're certainly rare now.
Well, this here we constructed here was a community project, and it was all volunteer. It was built up here along the river in a field, and it's the idea of it is to haul all the children around the area, and of course the grown-ups, and bring tourists into our area.
Well, I'm sure it's been very successful doing that because it's so beautiful here. I think it's wonderful that all of the people in Williamsport decided that they wanted to do a community project like this. And it's a beauty. Did you supervise the building of this boat?
I overseen the construction of it.
Now tell me, that's a great big paddle wheel on the back. Does that actually make the boat move?
Well, I guess I have to admit it's simulated, and we have two outdrive units that actually drives the boat.
Well, I guess we should benefit from our technology. It's a lot safer to have those other motors or whatever it is that drives the boat.
You have a lot more control of it. And we've had this is our third year here, and we've had no problems. So
now this is open to the general public. Anyone can come and take a ride on the Hiawatha?
Wednesday afternoon at 2 and Saturday and Sundays at 2. And the rest of it is all private charters and dinner cruises on Thursday.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's real nice.
Now, if I wanted to have a party, I could actually rent the Hiawatha for a private party?
Yes, ma'am.
Say, that sounds really neat. You have a lot of those.
We're booked up almost solid for the whole year. There's a few spaces in between that people call in, but we're real busy.
Well, you know, how far do you go up and down the river, Captain?
Well, we have 8 miles of river here that we can run. From this point, we can go downriver 2 or 3 miles, and it depends a lot on the time limit on the charters, how far we can go.
Now, when you can say you can travel a certain length of the river, does that mean only part of it is navigable, that other parts you couldn't take the boat in?
Well, we're boxed off downriver at the dam. So
well, we don't want to go over that.
We can't go over the dam. And upriver, what they call Crane's Riffles, it's quite a different elevation there in the water stage, and we can go up almost to that point, which is overall about 10 miles.
How many people can you carry on the boat?
We can take 150 passengers, and we can go up to 6 crew members.
Well, how many crew members are we going to have aboard today, Captain?
Today we'll have 3.
3? Well, we're going to meet the rest of the crew. We're going to meet some very, very nice people who donate their time to help run the Hiawatha, and we're going to learn a lot more about the Susquehanna River. And come on, Captain, I can't wait to board. Come on. Hear all that noise? That's those great big paddle wheels, boys and girls, on the back of our boat here. Now, basically they are decorative. They could be used to actually run this boat if they were geared properly. But right now, as I said, they're really being forced around by the water as we're traveling down the river. They're pretty wide. They're about 9 feet wide each paddle, and they're about 10 feet in diameter. And of course, there's 2 sets of paddle wheels back there. They look super on the back of the Hiawatha. As I said, reminds me of what it was like on the river maybe 100 years ago. But if you notice, there are many interesting things to see along the river. Well, we just saw a house just a little while. Well, there. See the big tall stilts the house is on? Well, that's because in the '72 flood, that's how high this river was, boys and girls. It's about 25 feet higher than it is right now. And to be sure that they would be safe, that's why that house is built way up on those stilts. But the Susquehanna River runs all the way through the state of Pennsylvania. It joins the North Branch in Sunbury, and then it flows all the way on to the Chesapeake Bay and to the Atlantic Ocean. You know, boys and girls, it's so lovely here on the Hiawatha, and as you can see, there are different levels to the boat. I'm on the first floor, the ground level here, or I should say maybe the water level. What do you think? Well, here we are anyway, and really enjoying our beautiful view, and it's so lovely out here on the Susquehanna River today. And you know, I was thinking we're on an old-fashioned paddle wheel boat, but there are all kinds of boats. Maybe we could make one. Now, if this isn't worthy of sailing in the Susquehanna River, perhaps it would be worthy of sailing in the bathtub. Now, if you have some wax paper, the boat will last a really long time. I have just some plain writing paper. You can make this any size, boys and girls. The only thing you have to do is be sure that your paper is square. That means all sides are even. This is about an 8-inch square, about 8 inches on all sides. Now, we're going to do something called origami. It's really just paper folding. And if you follow along with me, I'll go slowly, and if you have your square, we'll start, all right? Now, we're just going to fold these points together. And then we're going to run our fingers along the edges to make them nice and straight and secure. Okay? There we go. Have that? So we just folded those points together. Now, we're going to take these points and fold them up to here, each one. All set? There you go. See? Just like that. And then run your finger along it. And then we're going to bring this point right up here. See there? You can have a regular seam right there. Okay, have that. Okay, and now we're going to run our finger along there. Now, have that. Now, you have to watch. We're going to take these. Now, see, the first 2 pieces are like an original part of the square. We're not going to touch those. We're just going to take these points that we just bent up, and we're going to fold them back on themselves. See? Kind of folding those in half. Ready? We're going to take this one and bring it back just like that. There we go. Here, let me get it all set here. There. Have that? All right, now we're going to take these 2. See, we have 2 here, 2 little flaps, and we're going to fold one of them back like this and run our finger along it. All right? Do you have that? I'll take my time. And then we're going to fold this one over, and we're going to fold this one back on the other side. There we go. See? There you go. Now, it's just really like a little paper drinking cup, isn't it? But now we're going to fold it into a square. And we get all our edges straight there. See? We opened it like a paper drinking cup, and now we're going to fold it right into a square, like that. Now let's just fold our edges. All set? And now take your top edges here. Now see, these are the bottom ones here. These are the top edges, and you're going to pull them down like that. And there it goes. Now fold it along, pull it down and fold it along. And there you are, boys and girls. We're going to open the inside part here a little bit. See, just like that. Pop it up. And there you go. You're all set to go sailing. And as I said, it might not be ready for the Susquehanna River, but maybe for the bathtub. And right now, come on, let's watch this and oh, let's enjoy the view. You know, Alfie, this has to be one of the smarter things we've done in a while. It's just beautiful cruising on the Susquehanna River today.
Well, it's about time you came out here. I mean, Captain Stein and I were talking about things, and we were wondering when you'd come around.
Well, what do you mean, Captain Stein? You were talking to Captain Stein?
Are you kidding? the captain and I are old buddies.
Oh, Alfie.
Are we there, Cap?
Oh,
Sure.
you're always telling me things.
Yeah.
Right, boys and girls? You're always telling me things like that. I think you're just making that up.
Well,
I think
ever
you
since-
just met the captain just a few minutes ago when we did. Right, boys and girls?
Pshaw.
Pshaw yourself.
I mean, after all, you know I'm a great helper.
Well, that's true.
Now,
That
just
is
for
true.
instance,
All right.
just for you see out there, you see those lubbers out there in that little boat, they're gonna get hit.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Captain, give them a blast, will you? Warn them we're coming. Oh, there you go. That's it. Get out of the way, you.
Well, that should warn anyone
Hey,
that
you
the
see what I
Hiawatha
mean?
is coming
Yeah,
on the
you
river.
see? Thank you, Captain.
By the way,
What?
do you know why this is called the Hiawatha?
Why, certainly I know why it's called the Hiawatha.
Well, would
Did
you
you-
like to tell all of us why it's called the Hiawatha?
Well, as long as you asked me, I might just as well.
All
Well,
right.
you see, back in the good old days when I was young, about 100 years ago.
That made you 328. Oh, all right. When you were
I'm-
much
I'm-
younger,
I'm-
much
I'm-
younger.
I'm sure glad she can add kids, I'll tell you that. Yeah, anyhow, there was a boat here, you see, and it was named the Hiawatha.
You mean here in Williamsport?
That's
there was
right.
the
That's right.
original
The
Hiawatha?
original Hiawatha.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But unfortunately, we left it out in the wintertime,
Oh,
and there was a big snow,
uh-huh.
and a very cold winter,
Yes.
and lots of ice,
Uh-huh.
and it sort of broke the bottom, and the
You mean
old
the ice just
Hiawatha
kind of-
went glug, 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 glug,
Oh,
glug,
you mean
glug.
the ice just crushed in on the boat and it sunk?
That's right.
Oh.
So the people of Williamsport just decided that it was about time now to rejuvenate the good old Hiawatha, and here it is.
Well, it sure is a beauty, and I just think it's so nice. You know, everybody in the community got together and they volunteered their time, and they built this lovely paddle boat to sail up and down the river here.
Yeah.
And I'm delighted because if they didn't, you and I wouldn't be enjoying this
That's
beautiful
true.
day today.
That's true.
And hopefully you're enjoying it too, boys and,
And
girls.
I can do a little bit of my seamanship, and when things get a little quiet here,
Uh-huh.
old Cap, well, he's a very capable man, you know. I leave the
Oh, I
ship in
know.
his hands, and I take my little fishing rod, I
Uh-huh.
go over the side, throw it in, and do
And
a
you
little
just kind of
fishing.
sit in the sun and do a little fishing as you're
Yeah.
going up and down the river.
If I'm lucky
Well,
to
that sounds
catch
like a
one,
good
I
idea.
take it back for Wally, you know.
Oh, he must be Say, where is Wally? I can't imagine that we haven't seen him yet today.
Shh.
Shh. Why am I shushing out here on the
Don't
river?
speak too loud. I didn't tell Wally I was coming where there was water. And if he found out that I came here and there was water, oh my, would he be sore? I'm
How come
telling
you didn't bring him?
Well, I just thought I wanted to get away from the crowd a little bit.
Well, that's true. Sometimes it is just kind of nice
You
to
know,
be,
every once in a
spend a
while.
little more time with yourself.
Besides us seamen like to get out in the open sea by ourselves and just to enjoy the,
But you know what? You know
the
what I
wind,
think is so nice?
The water, yeah, what?
That so many of the senior citizens here in the area have volunteered their time to be the hosts and hostesses for the Hiawatha. They have a nice little place over here, and
Yeah.
they just kind of greet
Yeah.
everybody when they arrive,
Yeah.
and they have costumes of 100 years
Oh,
ago.
yes.
And it really just gets
Yeah.
into the spirit of things.
Did you hear about the parties and the meals that they serve on
Oh,
this ship?
somehow I knew you'd know about the dinners that were served on the boat here.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
do you know
bet
what?
your boots.
Right now, we're just going to relax
Yeah.
and kind of enjoy the sunshine.
just sit back.
And,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
Alfie, why don't
Right.
we do this more often?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you just sit back. Sit back. Okay, Captain Stein, let her go.
Oh, look what's happened, boys and girls. We've had a storm come up out here on the river, but when you travel the river, just about anything can happen. But we're really lucky. Stephen is here with us today. Stephen, so nice of you to join us.
Good to be here.
Well, you sure do look like a lumberjack, Stephen.
Well, I dressed up for the occasion just a little bit to show what a lumberjack wears when he's out in the woods cutting trees.
And Stephen, you're really a teacher in the Williamsport schools.
Oh, yes, I am.
And Stephen has been good enough to dress up in the garb of just about 100 years ago when the first Hiawatha was here, boys and girls. But I tell you what, tell us a little bit about lumbering. That was very important to Williamsport 100 years ago.
Oh, it sure was. 100 years ago, there were many, many big trees, and especially hemlock trees and pine trees. And they were very, very valuable to make lumber. Now, when the lumbermen first came, they would go way back into the woods, and they would build little cabins, and they would spend 2 or 3 months at a time out in the woods, in the winter time, and the springtime, and summertime, all year round. And they'd have a suit of clothes, and they'd wear the same clothes all the time.
Wow,
and
I guess there were no laundromats available, right?
That's true. And they would go out and work like 6 o'clock in the morning. They'd get up real early when the sun got up, and they'd work all day long, and then when it started to get dark, they'd come back to their cabins. And they'd go to bed pretty early because it was such hard work, and so they had to get up the next day and do the whole thing again.
Right, at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm. And they had a special cabin that they ate, kind of the dining cabin, and they had one guy who was the chef, and he would cook up big pots of porridge every night, and they had a little tin plate that they'd eat on, and when one side of the plate got dirty, they'd flip it over and eat on the other side of the plate until about the end of the week. Then the dishwasher would finally take them out and wash them all up.
Well, you can see life was a little rugged for the lumberjacks, but Stephen is going to tell us a little more about the life of the lumberjack in song.
Okay, this is called the Lumberjack Song, and it talks about being a lumberjack. And some of the lumberjacks are actually speaking in the song. It goes like this. We are lumberjacks and we're okay. We work in the woods and we cut trees all day. We get up with the sun and we work till late. We eat all our meals off the same old plate. Well, the lumberman's life was a hard, hard life. It was full of struggles and full of strife. Worked in the timber every month of the year, and the same old clothes he always had to wear. 'Cause we are lumberjacks, we're okay. We work in the woods and we cut trees all day. We get up with the sun and we work till late. Eat all our meals off the same old plate. In the winter we shipped on timber on sleds. At night we slept on rock-hard beds. And every day the same old clothes we wore. When we needed things there was the company store. We are lumberjacks and we're okay. Work in the woods and we cut trees all day. We get up with the sun and we work till late. We eat all our meals off the same old plate. We slept in cabins that we built quite fast. They were very simple, not made to last, 'cause we kept on moving every now and then. When the timber was gone we had to move again. 'Cause we are lumberjacks, we're okay. We work in the woods and cut trees all day. We get up with the sun and we work till late. Eat all our meals off the same old plate. When we cut down a tree, we tried to get it to a stream. A sluice or a sled would be one of the means. Then to the Susquehanna boom they'd float. Logs by the thousands would grow and grow. 'Cause we are lumberjacks and we're okay. We work in the woods and we cut trees all day. We get up with the sun and we work till late. Eat all our meals off the same old plate. Then to the mills the lumber went. It was cut and carved, steamed and bent, sent by rail all over the world. Into history Williamsport was hurled. 'Cause we are lumberjacks and we're okay. Work in the woods and cut trees all day. We get up with the sun and we work all late. We eat all our meals off the same old plate.
Now, isn't this a lot easier, Mr. Frog? I'm going to take you for a nice ride.
Rivet, Rivet, it is very comfortable.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself.
Rivet, I like this. I don't have to work so hard and I can still get places.
That's so true, and you know, the exercise I think is really good for me.
Rivet, Rivet. You know, this makes me so happy, Miss Judy, that I would like to sing you a song.
Oh, I'd love to be serenaded as we row along.
I wish we had a rainbow.
A rainbow? But it's such a beautiful, clear day. Even without a rainbow, do you think we might have a song?
Well, Rivet, Rivet, even without a rainbow, I think I will sing you this beautiful song.
enjoyed your song about the Lumberman, and I understand you wrote that yourself. It's an original piece.
Well, thank you. Yes, I did.
That is really great. How long have you been writing music, Stephen?
Oh, about since I was 16 years old, which was, oh, well,
A while ago.
That
We'll
many
just
years
let
ago.
it go at that. But now, tell us a little bit. You know, this river is really beautiful here in the William. Well, it's beautiful all the way down, pretty much, the Susquehanna. But can you tell us a little bit about the river, Stephen?
Well, sure. The lumberjacks, of course, used the river and all the streams that flow into the river to move the logs. Now, back in those days, they didn't have big tractor trailers or big trucks to move the logs, so they had to get the logs off the mountain and try to get them into a stream. And then they would travel down to the stream into the river, and then the river would flow by one of the sawmills. And the sawmills were all built on the river so they could take the logs out and cut them right there without
And just
having...
kind of fish them out of the water and cut them then. That's really interesting. Of course, the river is a very important part. It's always been an important part of people's lives, but back when it was harder to get around, it was even more important, wasn't it, Stephen?
Oh, sure was. Long before cars, people would travel by boat. You know, a lot easier to travel by boat than to walk, you know, through the woods. So a lot of people built their houses and built towns by rivers so they could easily travel from one place to another place. And so rivers have always been very, very important that way.
Well, you know, Stephen wrote another song, and this one happens to be about the river. And, oh, wait, you know, before you sing that song, you played a banjo last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is now, you have a guitar here?
This is a guitar.
What kind of a banjo was that you had, Stephen?
That was called a tenor banjo. That has 4 strings. Now, sometimes you might see a banjo with 5 strings. That's a different kind of banjo. Mm-hmm. And this is a different kind of guitar, too. Most guitars have 6 strings. This guitar has 9 strings. It's a 9-string guitar, which is kind of
Do you get
different.
more music out of it?
Oh, a little bit.
Well, we're going to find out because Stephen is going to sing to us about the river.
This is called Down to the Sea. Flow, little rivulets, flow down to me. Bring to me your sweet waters, and I'll take them to the sea. Starting from mountains as snow melt, washing the winter's cold hands, joining and growing and giving life's blood to the land. Flow on, you babbling brooks, flow down to me. Bring to me your sweet waters, and I'll take them to the sea. White water cascades through canyons, wild with wonder and grace, and swiftly it moves through the country, creating and carving the land's face. Now flow on, you mighty streams, flow down to me. Bring to me your sweet waters, and I'll take them to the sea. Travelers have voyaged your waters, and loggers have used your highway. Oh, to you, our dear Susquehanna, you've given life in the way. You flow, majestic river, flow, flow down to the sea, and take our sweet waters, take them to the sea.
Well, Boys, I just can't thank everyone connected with the Hiawatha and all of the nice people here in Williamsport for being so very kind to us today. We've had a wonderful time sailing the Susquehanna, and I hope you have also. You know, as I said, this boat is available. You can come on Wednesdays and Saturday and Sunday and take a ride yourself right here on the Hiawatha. It's located just on the river here in Williamsport. A lot of other interesting, exciting things to see in the area too. There's the Little League Hall of Fame, and well, as I said, lots of things in the beautiful area of Williamsport, but we're having a wonderful time today on the Susquehanna. I hate to have to say goodbye, but I do. Bye-bye, boys and girls. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.
In the land of Hatchy, the land of Hatchy, the land of Hatchy Milatchy.